Hey Pokemon fans and Origami fans, my name is Josie, and today I'm going to show you how to make this really incredible Latias and Latios origami. And a few weeks ago, one of the Pokemon Facebooks or Instagrams uploaded a really great looking model, and the problem was it was 60 seconds long because it was a short reel, and it was kind of impossible to figure out how to make it, but I really liked the design. It was unlike all of the other Latias designs I could find online, and I basically spent the last week deciphering it, and so I slowed it way down and I watched it over and over and over again a million times till I think I got it just about right. I just love the face, I love the wings, and I just think it's so faithful to the Latios and Latias with just the one sheet of paper. Kudos to whoever designed this originally. So here we go. If you're gonna make Latias, you use a bright red sheet of paper, a white on one side, red on the other. And if you're gonna make a Latios, use a nice light blue sheet. Try not to avoid dark blue, looking more for this cerulean, if you will, because I feel like color is so important with this. And just in case you're feeling shiny, we have shiny Latias, in which I would use kind of a golden looking paper. And here's shiny Latios, and you're looking for kind of a bluish greenish piece of paper. And you could use a bigger, if you're struggling with this origami, you can use a bigger sheet, but I think that it's completely doable with a normal sized sheet of paper. So we're gonna take our sheet and we're gonna just fold it as a diagonal. Simple. It's gonna be really easy initially, I promise, and then it'll get kind of hard. Now here's some tips about origami for you. Really take your time with this, really try to get as exact as you can. You know, don't press all the way down. Make that diagonal and really try to get the corner of the page to be really crisp and pointy. If it's not a point at the corner, you can redo it. And when you're happy with the crease, use your thumbnail to reinforce the crease. This is really important, so getting those sharp creases throughout your design. Then we're going to do the same thing again in the other direction, making a big X. Now, a little bit of my history with Latias. I became a fan of Latias when the character came out. I played Pokemon Ruby, although Latias was not technically in that game. I love the birds, and I especially love Pokemon Heroes, as it was named in the US, the 5th Pokemon movie. And I love that movie, and Latias is my #1 favorite Pokemon. So I was basically obsessed when I found this tutorial. And I was like, I have to have it. Okay, now we have a big X. Now we're going to kind of make a kite. So we're going to take the lower edge and we're going to line that up to the middle diagonal, and we're going to make a kite shape. Now again, as I'm folding it, try to line it up with the middle, diagonal right there, and at the bottom you should see a perfect little point. It's just that preliminary, this is just the kind of the easy step, but getting these exact as you can is so important down the road, because little things can have a huge impact down the road, because it's going to get smaller and smaller as we go. Again, if this tutorial is a little too slow for you, there is a 60-second version, but it's a little hard to follow, at least at that speed. Okay, now we're gonna open it back up And guess what? We're going to do the same thing but on the other side. I know, repetitive, but that makes it fun, and it makes it easier because if every step were unique, kind of a nightmare. Okay. Looking for that point at the bottom. And one more this way. And when I was watching the tutorial, the 60-second version, it was more like it wasn't a tutorial as much as it was just content. I had to slow it down to 3% because it was so fast that I could barely see the folds, and then they even unfortunately cut some steps out, I think probably to make the video quote-unquote more entertaining. But everyone in the comments was like, where's the tutorial? Well, here you go. This is my best guess. Here we go. Alright, so now we're going to open the page back up. I'm going to try to show you how we're going to do this. First, fold the page in half. Got it? Good. Now we have a triangle. Then we're going to take the first flap on the right and fold it backwards along the crease we just made. I'm actually going to fix that point at the top just a little bit so it's nice and pointy. And we're going to leave this open. This crease right here, the one that we just made, that's going to line up with this crease. I know that's a bit tricky, but take a good look there. We want to line up this crease with this intersection. Now, what we're going to do is going to do the same thing on the left side. We're going to bring in the top flap on the left, reinforce the crease that we just made, and try to line this or existing crease up with this line. And once you're happy, when it looks even, remember, you're going to be constantly looking for symmetry. So, for example, in the middle of here, those things should line up. And I'm actually adjusting my crease to kind of try to get it right as a straight line there, okay? So when you're happy with that, reinforce the crease right here, and then we're going to flip it over. Now, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take the flap on the right, we're going to reverse fold the crease that we already made. Again, you can always fix your creases sometimes. And we're going to line this crease up with now just the line right there. And it should fold nice and flat on the right. Same thing with the left. Bring this forward. Bring this forward. Remember, you got to open it up and then fold it down. And it actually will be a little bit easier now because you can just line this, make this corner, make this line horizontal, and it should line up right for you. Okay. Now, I'm going to say this a lot, but what you want to do is fold it in half to just sort of look at the symmetry. If something is not lining up, now's your chance to try to fix it. Even for me, we're working on it. I'm getting better. Each time I do another bird, I get a tiny bit better. I'm going to fold this down like this. And what that's going to do is it's going to help create a crease for the future. I'm going to bend the top layer down, and the crease is going to be between the white and the red spot line there. Perfect. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to open this up, push the paper back into itself. I know. I could have explained that slightly better. So, my apologies. But yeah. Okay, now this is where it gets important. We've created this crease here already, and then we're now gonna, opening from the top right, we're gonna fold this over and push the paper, the top layer, down and to the left. It should just push down just like a flap. Just make this diagonal line, and it's going to line up. This point should line up right here. There. And once it's lined up, finish that crease. Okay? Now, same with the other side. Pull from the left top flap. Just push it down, and it should magically just line up right there again in the line. Now reinforce these creases. Cool. So we're going to take these two side flaps. I'm going to push them together, and that's going to create this little kite at the top. And what we're doing is we're folding right along the 3 creases that we already made, bringing the 2 sides in together, and all of it should just fold right into place to create a little kite. And do, like, look in there, make sure it's, actually, you can see here how that wasn't lined up. So make sure those folds go all the way, because these little decisions mean a lot down the road. So you should have, you can kind of open it up, kind of see the symmetry, you know, fold it in half here, see if you can do it. Okay, hopefully you got that. What we're going to do is we're going to open these 2 inside flaps like this, like a little envelope. Okay, open those up. We're going to push up. Okay, you see that? I'm pushing, taking the bottom point, and I'm pushing it up like this. And as far as it'll go, it should create a horizontal line right here, and it should line up right here at the top along the center of the model. So you've now created kind of a pentagon shape, and hopefully you should have 5 points. 1 point is here, 1 point is here, 1 point is here, 1 point is here, and 1 point is in the middle. And when you're happy with that and it looks pretty symmetrical, again, you can kind of try to compare. There you go. Cool. Now I'm going to take the top of this, of the red point, and bring it down and fold it in half. Fold it right along where the color changes. You can see that right there. I'm folding right along the white and the red intersection. Basically fold it down as far as it'll go. Alright, now we're going to fold 1 flap to the left. We're going to do 2 things here. This is where it gets a little bit tricky. So first, we're going to fold this little chunk. We're going to take this first flap right here and fold it up like this. Okay. Now, not of note, we're not folding it all the way to the top. Okay? We're folding it from this center point almost to the top. Now what we're going to do is this is tricky, we're going to have to fold right here, and we're also going to have to fold right here. It's hard to explain, but you're going to end up with 2 folds that look something like that. Okay? Now this has to be done in midair. It cannot be done flat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lift the top flap here, and I'm going to just lightly crease from this center point down to this intersection. Okay? And I would say on a normal size sheet of origami paper, this is like less than half a centimeter, like less than a quarter inch for sure. And this is actually the hands. So this is all, be very gentle here. I think it's really easy to rip the paper. And it actually, you'll see here, it actually doesn't lie flat. So the only way to complete this fold is to push it back over like this. So you can see here, that's what we got. We got a little V. And when I close it, it just finishes it for us. Okay? Now we're going to do the same thing on the exact opposite side. So flip to right this time. And then what we're going to do, we're going to repeat this step of taking this lower point and folding it up like this. And again, not all the way to the end, leave a little space there. But from the center to about there. And then we're gonna, once again, magically fold that basic shape along those two creases. Okay, so lift the top flap here. Again, maybe a little bit less than a quarter inch or less than half a centimeter. Or, you know, whatever works for your size of paper. You can see, it's just be real gentle, really gentle. I ripped the paper here a lot, too much. And we're gonna fold to the left. And you can see how that works. Again, it's not gonna lie flat, so we have to push this over. We're gonna now take the top layer here in the white and fold it down about the same amount as we did the other sides, and you can actually see in there where it intersects. We kind of want to match the previous two, and I'm doing my best. Okay, I'm trying. Anyway, so that little part goes down, and we're gonna push this. These are the hands, right? So we don't want to push those all the way down. What we want to do is actually make a fold like about there. Okay, so I'm gonna make a diagonal fold from the center and up, and what that's gonna do is it's gonna make that little hand pop up that way. And the same thing over here, push this up a little bit like that, and that'll make that hand pop up that way, and it won't lie perfectly flat there. Okay. So, last step for this section is to take that original white corner and bring it back up this direction, but we want to leave a little bit of the white triangle showing. Right there, this is important, leave a little bit exposed because that is that little triangle on the Latias's chest. I think that's so cool that this design allows you to make those details on our heroes. Okay, cool. Those are the hands. Woo! Now we're going to flip the paper. Perfect. Now we're here. So now what we want to do is we want to fold this intersection to meet the middle. And I'll show you right now where the fold's going to be. It's going to be right around there. Alright? You can see right there in the middle, that is lining up. And I suggest also just look at the big picture, right? Look at, is this lining up? Is this lining up? And again, when you're happy, go ahead and reinforce that crease. Now the next step is just push it back the other way it came. So push it back to the right. And we want to crease it right along the center of the model. There should be already a fold line there. Okay, you can see we want it to try to line up nice and straight. Okay, now we're going to fold the other side to the right. Similarly, we want this to go to the middle. And you can kind of see, is it looking symmetrical, right? And now, magically, these two wings actually should line up. Just about. Okay, and then, same as before, we're going to fold back to the left, and the crease is going to be right down the center of the model. Now we're going to take this right point, this top edge, and we're going to line it up with the center of the model, making a diagonal. Pretty easy that one, not too bad. Same thing with the left. Left to center. Okay, now we're going to fold it back this way at about this amount. But it's, I would say, again, just a little bit, like less than a 1/4 inch, less than 1/2 centimeter. Gonna fold it right back to where we came. This, we're making the wings, okay? Try to keep it straight down here, like that. And then the same thing on the left. I try to make sure that the wings meet right in the middle. The same, you can see how the creases, they match right there in the center. Okay, next. Now we're going to take this lower edge right here and fold it up to meet the middle. It's just the first layer. So we're going to bring up the first layer on the lower right and bring it up towards the center. Okay, you see that? It's a diagonal fold. But we're only going to crease the first half of the wing, the lower half. Because in the second half of the wing, we're actually going to kind of turn the page like this. So you can kind of pull the paper, twist it. You can see how I'm kind of pulling it out like this. And the reason why we're doing that is we want the wings, we want to make this a pointy wing, because if we were not to do that, it would just look like that. We don't want that. We want to turn the paper out. And you have to finagle it a little bit. That's the technical term, is just you got to finagle the paper, and so it makes a little point here. This is a tricky step, and I recommend, if you're having difficulty with this step, go back and evaluate how much you're folding this over, because that can heavily affect how this step is done, or if it's going to work for you. You can see. Cool. So should have a pointy there. Let's do it again on this side. Bottom meets the center, diagonal fold up to the center, creasing the lower half. And over here, instead of folding it like that, don't fold it flat. You have to kind of pull the paper out. See, right there, you can see, you pull the paper out. This part stays down, okay? But this part opens up. And we're going to bisect this triangle so it makes a perfect point. You should have a point over here. And just sort of work the paper, okay? Not a perfect. It's okay if it's not perfect, but we try. Cool. Now we're gonna keep going. We're gonna make a crease right around here. Okay, it doesn't have to be exactly straight, but somewhere in that vicinity. We're gonna take this corner, turn it up, and fold. So that way we're getting a bit of a diagonal right there. Cool. Same thing on the left. My cat is meowing very loud. We'll see if she stops meowing, or maybe she'll continue to meow. I don't know. Cool. Now we're gonna take the tip of the pointy part and bend it straight down behind the model, like this. And the same thing on the left. We're gonna bend it back. And so now you have both points facing down. Now, just to reinforce these folds, what I like to do is I like to unfold it completely and fold it the opposite way. So now we're going to bend it along the same crease, but behind instead, like this. And then fold it straight back down. Same thing over here. Instead of going over, you're going to go under, bend it backwards along the same crease, and then back down. Okay, cool. So now we're going to do 2 reverse folds. Unfold all of what we just did back to those original points. Okay, so open up, take the top flap, and open it up and push the wing into itself along the creases that we just made. And pull it out, you know. Try to do your best, because we want to make this like a diagonal down here. Okay. And then remember we had a fold like this. So now we're actually going to open this flap up and push it back down. So it's going to look like it did before, but the folds will be reversing inside of each other instead. Open the flap, the top flap, the left, and then push the wing into itself along the creases that we just made. You have to flip this fold inside out. So, does that. Okay, and then last but not least, we're gonna get this back going down, so we have to open it up and push this down into itself, reversing it again. So you should have something like this. Okay, now this is one extra thing for the wing, okay? We're gonna do the same thing we just did, but it's gonna get even smaller. So we're gonna fold this tip up like that. See? And then I'm gonna fold it down and to the right. And what we're looking for is kind of these 3 points, because Latias and Latios have 3 little points on the wing. And then you can see what we're going to do. You can unfold those 2 folds, and now we're going to reverse fold everything again. So we're going to open this up and push this up along the crease we just made. And then finally we're going to reverse fold the very end of the point. I know it's hard even for me. This is very small, and if you got a better idea for how to accomplish this, let me know, because I studied this part of the tutorial for like a long time. But my goal is to try to get these 3 little points, and I did what I could. So same thing over here, a little bit faster this time. We're going to fold up. Definitely, this is kind of the smallest and craziest, hardest part of the model, so Even for me, this is difficult. All right, cool. Now unfold everything and open up the flap. Push the pointy across the fold that we just made back inside of itself again. And then the last little end, we're gonna reverse fold, and so it sticks out and creates like a little three little, almost like a little star, like a half star. And there you go. There you go. I hope that works out for you. All right, cool. Moving on, we're gonna flip the model 180 degrees. We're gonna work on the head. Now we're gonna try to make a fold. We're gonna try to take the bottom point and bring it to about there, right between where these two creases are. We'll just fold it straight up, horizontally, right between these two intersections. Then we're going to open the model. So we're going to lift these two white flaps up like this. And we're going to try to reverse fold along the crease we just made. So we're going to take the bottom, bring it up, and it's going to go inside itself, and then fold these flaps. Make sure that the tip is lined up in the middle, and then fold the flaps down. So you should have that shape. Okay, now we're gonna take those two little flaps and just push them out. Fold, you wanna fold right along this line. Go in to the middle, these two little flaps, and we're gonna fold those up and to the left. And it should just be a very easy fold. Same with the right side. Up and to the right. And so you get a little diamond looking shape. Now we're going to take that original top and we're going to fold it back down about to there. Not an exact measurement for this, but just fold it down and you should be left with a little red square. Open up this and take the little end flap and reverse it. So take that flap and put it back into the model. So you should have a little red triangle and a hexagon, white hexagon. Cool. Now we're going to open this flap up again, like this. And you have to open it, move the flap back this direction, and you're going to push from the bottom here and open up so you can see the red inside. Okay. Now what you're trying to do is get a kind of a red square, a little bit of a red square. Same with the left side. We're going to lift this flap up, and we're going to open up the model. See? And we're going to push down. Now we're going to make a fold right along here. Okay? Vertically fold up. And now we're going to vertically fold down right around there. Okay? And what that's going to do is that's going to cut off a little bit of the top of the red square. So you are left with a pentagon looking red part of the model, and that should look just like Latias' face. Okay? Now we're going to flip the model, and we're going to fold right along here. Okay? I'm going to fold this up. It's just a really small fold, and what we're doing is we're making Latias' ears. I'm just fold up like that. We're going to do the same thing on the left. From the center and up on the left. Alright? Cool. Something like that. Now, flip the model again. And we're going to now take those creases we just made and reverse fold them up into the model. So unfold. And now what we're going to do is we're going to flip those exact same creases right back into our model. So we're making a little ear. Same thing over here. Have to reverse all the creases we just made. And definitely gotta finagle it, definitely gotta work the paper, make it work for you, that's okay. And one of the last steps for the face is we have to lock in the ear by folding in the side of the head. So we're just gonna, very small section here, but we're gonna fold in the very edge of the paper. So that's gonna help lock in the ear, make it pointy there. Same with the left side. Fold in the side of the paper. So now we have two nice and pointy ears. And the final step is going to be to fold in these two lower corners to create the shape of Latias's face. And this, this can be however you want it to be. Maybe you want Latias to have a nice thin face. Maybe you want to have a bigger face. I don't know. Maybe you want to differentiate the size of the face, whether it's Latios or Latias. That's up to you. But I like to try to make it round a little bit, and I like to try to make it as symmetrical as I can. Now we're going to rotate the page like this, and we're going to turn it over. From the bottom, we're going to take the lower right corner and fold it to the center line. Same with the lower left corner. Bring that up to the center, as far as it'll go to the center line, so you're left with a point. Unfold the flaps, flip the model over again, and we're going to open up the model. We're going to reverse those folds that we just made. You can see them right there. Those four diagonals. Push from the center, push up and into the model. See, right along the creases we just made. So it should look something like this. Now, what we're going to do is we can fold the whole model in half. So, from holding the center like this, fold everything that we did this whole time, fold it in half, like a sandwich. You don't have to fold the head in half, but you can fold everything else. Now, those two little tail flaps that we just made, you're going to fold this flap up like this, and a diagonal fold. See? Same thing if we flip the model with the other tail. Pushing this tail up and making it so there's kind of a lower symmetrical point at the bottom. And then you can just push those out so that way the little tails help it stand. Well, we're getting real close here. So, holding the model in half, this is your arm. Fold, we're going to want to fold the arm down right around there, halfway into the model. Now you can make your arms any way you want. If you want to fold it differently than I'm doing, go for it. But I like to fold it so it's like right down the middle of the body, give or take. And then, reinforce that crease when you're happy. Now, flip the model around and do the same thing with this arm, trying to keep it symmetrical. And the reason why, you don't have to, but if you want to keep it symmetrical, this is going to help it stand, because that whole model stands on its little arms. In midair, we're going to kind of just gently crease right around this area, from this intersection down to here. So you can see here, I'm literally just gonna shape it and kind of pinch it. And we're just giving Latias a nice sleek neck. And it's kind of cool, it's kind of making the ears poke out. We'll see that in a second. You should end up with a diagonal looking kind of crease there. And then we flip them all around, same thing. It may help you to hold the colored part of the model. Like pinch the model on the red, and then just kind of work your magic. However you gotta do this. Honestly, there's no perfect strategy here. What works for me may work differently for you. But this part is a little tricky. You gotta try to shape the bird in midair. And then you can come back to the face and shape the face a little bit. Kind of pull the face out a little bit. Actually, you can see here the ear kind of came undone just for a second there, so make sure it's holding. And then our final step is to take the wings, and you can kind of bend them out a little bit. However much you want, whatever works for you. And there you go. There's Latias, my favorite Pokemon of all time, probably forever. Definitely forever. Longtime Origami fan, longtime Pokemon fan since day one, long-time Latias fan. So, yes, please, post your results below. I want to see how you did, and maybe yours probably looks even better than mine. So, thanks for watching! Bye!